I'm going to be ranking all of the amazing digital circus characters, including the ones we haven't seen. Of course, they're probably going to be lower down in the ranking. But right off rip, Jax Chi is the best, but also most hated Amazing Circus character on this list. The way she Goose works, the way she writes Jax is really underrated, and it sucks that the community doesn't really care to doesn't understand like nuance or anything like that. Not to sound like a dick, I guess, but they think that they're a bad character because they're a bad person, and I don't think that's how that works. All right, that's not how that works at all. I don't I wish like the Amazing Circus community was really good for most of its time, but then over the last like couple of months before the movie came out, it spiraled down real quick, and it's now like really one of the worst. But that's part of the reason I think people are less willing to understand this character or anything like that, despite all the bad things they do. Now, next up on the list, that honor goes to Kane, right? I relate to him a lot. Like, he is a perfect representation. I have some words for the community about him too. He's a perfect representation of what it's like to be neurodivergent and having to deal with other people. True, same thing with Jax. What he did to the others wasn't okay at all. But the way the community reacted to him, I don't agree with that. Because this is one of them communities where everyone is autistic, or everyone at least believes they're autistic. And when there's a character that is like neurodivergent in the way he acts, but it's not like the cute, quirky stuff, everyone hates him, right? Yeah, he tortured everyone, and there's really no defending that. There's no getting around that. But from the way he tries to make like appeal to everyone, the way he tries to make friends with everyone, but he can't wrap his head around everyone else's sensibilities. I relate to that. I relate to that a lot. And then him getting shit for not ever like being like accommodating enough. I think that I don't relate to that as much because his situation is peculiar, right? Because he was in the circus and then these humans came along. He didn't put those headsets on them. I think it's a shame that nobody addresses that in the show, right? Like he made it his job out of kindness to try to appeal to them and make adventures for them and stuff, and not one of them ever told him thank you, even though he was hurting them. Not one of them ever tried to tell him what was wrong directly, or like coach him through anything like that. And I think that's sad. I relate to that a lot. Just trying to appeal to everyone but not being able to because you can't wrap your head around the way they think. So he's a number two. I'm gonna put him in number two. Three is Kinger, right? I feel like they should have touched on him just a little bit more, because outside of a couple throwaway lines, we don't really go over any guilt he might have had from accidentally creating the circus. I wish they touched on that more, just a little bit more. Or maybe they explained the reason that's why he went crazy or anything like that. Or maybe it is. Maybe that's the implication. I just didn't pay enough attention. But I really wish they touched on that more. Behind him is Ragatha, right? The way she feels the need to please everyone and make friends with everyone at her own expense. Not the same way as Kane. They both do that. They're both like people pleasers, or at least they try to be. But the way she kind of like turns down her own dignity, her own sense of self to try to make friends or make sure everyone else around her is okay. In the way that very clearly mirrors how people actually act with an abusive parent, because you have to tread lightly, you have to tread on eggshells around them, and you kind of learn to make sure everyone else, aka the parent, is okay before you can feel okay. I understand that. Someone with an abusive parent would turn into someone who constantly has to make everyone else feel all right. I value that. I relate to that too. I relate to that a lot too. Feel like people, and here's what I don't understand. Ever since what, episode 5 was it? People kept acting like everyone hates her, but I never saw that. I went and looked. I went and looked on different websites and stuff too. I feel like it was one of them cases where, like, everyone thinks everyone hates her because one post blows up of someone, shitting on her for no good reason. I I don't really I don't really understand that. So I'm not going to say anything like, oh, she's overhated, because I don't see her being hated at all. Like, at all. Even when I went to go look for it. But yeah, the show should have touched on her too. I will admit the show has a problem with really, like, with who it dedicates time to. I will admit it spent too much time on Jax. All right, I'm not super pissed. I'm not going to complain about it, but like, it definitely did. Like Kinger and Kane and Ragatha should have had more time. Behind her is Gangle, I would say. Behind Ragatha's Gangle. The way she has to put on a mask in order to, like, present as happy in order to feel happy. I don't relate to that, but I hope somebody who's watching this does. It's interesting. I want to understand how she thinks. I wish there were more videos explaining that. But and then the way that she really was about to abstract in episode 4, because she kept getting torn into the entire episode about how, you're annoying. You're annoying. I get what that feels like. That's relatable. The way her face would just freeze, I understand that. And also her becoming overzealous when she's well, not happy, but when her energy has been cranked up, right? Like when she's actually doing stuff. The way she's overzealous and she starts annoying people, and like no one wants to feel like, oh, you're only good when you're miserable. You're only good when you're at your worst, So, what, that I do relate to. I hope some of you can too. I really want someone to, like, talk in the comments and have something to say. Well, who else? Zubul, but I don't really have much to say about them at all. Like, they care for Gangle. They're pretty tough, I guess. I still don't know why they would get a body like that. I mean, I like the detail that they only learn to be comfortable or, like, serve themselves with their body by the end of the show. I like that. I think that's really cool. Like, I feel like the circus, like, the whole thing with the ending is that everyone learned to take the best parts of the circus and appreciate what they had in front of them, But until then, everyone was only focusing on the bad, and that's what caused a lot of them to abstract. I appreciate that detail. I appreciate how they showed Zubul using all of their body parts and, like, enjoying being able to do that, being able to take themselves apart and all that good stuff. Who else? Pomni, I don't really have much to say about her.
And that's convenient.
Jax.
What? Are we all just supposed to forgive this? This guy messed up in the worst possible way he could. Now we have nothing.
Jax, please, just calm down. We're
Anything else you want to tell us?
Jax!
What? He gets to mess up.
The show should have focused on her more. I'd say she's one of the weakest of, like, the actual cast, though. Let me be honest. And then there's Kaufmo. He's no. He's not behind Pomni. Ribbit. She is. I mean, there's a lot to say, even though we only saw that all the flashbacks, right? The way she wanted to be vulnerable with Jax, but then went, and I assume, like, I think the implication is that she's self-isolated so that Jax wouldn't believe that she could, like, tell on anyone, right? Because, like, they shared all that stuff. I'm pretty sure the reason she abstracted not only was from feeling unwanted, unloved, that sort of thing, but I think, I believe she, like, didn't talk to anyone else at all. Like, I only really saw her trying to speak to Jax, and I'm pretty sure that's why. And in hindsight, I think that's why Kaufmo realized, like, oh, you did this. I think that's why they didn't get along, right? That's, that's pretty tragic. And then behind her, it's Kaufmo.
No, they're Gracie! Please leave me alone! Stop! Come on, just wait! This is Gracie!
Where do you think you're going, darling? You can leave. Guys, I got her!
And then behind all of them is Scratch, right? I don't like there's not too much to be said. I think the concept of someone trying to make like assumedly like an AI that could detect brain scans or like because he had a tumor, he had brain cancer, right? In the real world. I think the concept of someone making an AI that could like detect brain scans or like figure out a cure or anything like that. I'm pretty sure that's what he was trying to do. I think that's pretty cool. Um, who didn't I cover? And then I guess there's Queenie, who's just good, or who's only here because she's Kinger's wife, right? There's not much to be said about her at all. And then you have all these other losers who I'm just gonna throw here, and that's all. It's all of everyone, isn't it? Who am I missing? Bubble. Hmm. Bubble. There's not much to be said about them either, or him. I think the concept because I mean the implication with Bubble is that they were clearly like Abel, right? They were what's left of Abel. Like in when we see how Cain came to be, we see that blue polygon over there that just doesn't really fade away. I'm pretty sure that was them. I don't understand. I'm gonna put them above all these other people, like behind Queenie, above everyone else. But other than that, yeah, it's honestly, I will say the show used too much time on Jax. I think that was a poor decision. I don't think that was a good thing. But anyway, that's really all I have to say.